What's going on, world? It's your boy Kuya P. This is the NRW Nerds Rule the World. I'm so excited today, guys, because as you see on the screen, I have some special guests. We're going to talk all about the Energon Universe over at Image and Skybound. I have the writer of Duke, Joshua Williamson, and the artist Thomas Reilly. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I cannot wait because I am a super fan of a real American hero that is a G.I. Joe. How are you guys?
Dude, I'm really good, man. How are you doing?
I am wonderful, man. Joshua, last time I talked to you, we were talking Dark Ride. It was the Halloween season. We're now in the holiday season of Christmas, and a Christmas present for me is G.I. Joe, Duke #1. I am a super fan. And when I was reading this issue, thank you again to Skybound for giving me the advanced look. I read in the back that you grew up on G.I. Joe as well. You had like notebooks about G.I. Joe.
That's real. Yeah, that's real. I really had notebooks about G.I. Joe. I had a lot of thoughts on G.I. Joe before I got the job. We've been talking for a while. Dude, it was funny. Earlier, we were doing another interview, and I had to leave the interview because I literally had the G.I. Joe His Tank get delivered to my house, the big one. It got delivered, so I was like, I have to go. So it's right here. So when we're done today, I'm gonna crack it open and look at this massive toy over here. But yeah, I had a lot of ideas about G.I. Joe, and I was really glad that like when I finally really started talking to Skybound about it, we've been talking about it for a long time. But when the conversations got serious, I had a lot of ideas on it already. And when I told them here are my ideas, it actually aligned with the ideas they had as well. And it ended up working out really well. It was like cool. I got to do all that stuff that I had been wanting. I've been wanting to do, like things I had thought about if we were ever going to do something like this. This is how I'd like to do it, and that's what we're doing. So it's been really fun.
I love that, dude. I did not know you were a G.I. Joe super fan. I am one as well. As I said earlier, when I got into filmmaking, the property that I wanted to, bring up was, G.I. Joe. I wanted that IP, but then somebody messed it up. I'm not going to mess about the previous film incarnations, but I wasn't a fan. But it's amazing to hear that a super fan is at least taking it into the comics universe again, with what you're doing with Energon, and then mishmashing with Transformers, another favorite property of mine as well. So getting this together, you're dropping Duke #1 on December 27th. It's going to be a Christmas present for all of us, and then we got Cobra Commander coming soon after, which Shannon, shout out to Skybound. I need to talk with Josh about that one as well with Cobra Commander. All things G.I. Joe we need to talk about.
For sure.
Tell me about this drop coming together with Thomas Reilly over there, who we have with us as well, to work with you and bring to life this miniseries that's going to expand out. We're building up, I think, these solo series to another new ongoing G.I. Joe. If we can talk about that real quick.
Well, I got this job. So like I said before, like I started talking to Skybound about this a long time ago because as much as I love the property, you're Robert Kirkman. And like Robert Kirkman super loves G.I. Joe and Transformers. I mean, he like really, really loves both those properties a lot. And I think he was really passionate about getting these properties to tell a really big story, but also do something different, unexpected, and unpredictable, right? Like we wanted to take it in a direction that might surprise you. We want you, because like we all know it, right? Like Transformers, G.I. Joe, but our question to you is like, do you? And when you combine those two worlds at their origin point, right? Not later on down the line, but literally at the origin point, like the origin of G.I. Joe and the origin of Transformers being here and the Energon War and the things that are happening over here, to actually tell a story, it's a little different and how they impact each other, right? And Robert had this idea for it. And again, I said it in line with mine. And, we just started talking about it. And then it got here a couple of years ago. Sorry, I cut out. We got you're back years ago. And then Robert brought up, Robert actually brought up Tom. Like Robert was like, oh, there's this guy, Tom Reilly, but Tom and I had already worked together. We knew each other. We were working on something in that moment. And it was funny. Like, I think we had been talking about Tom for like 6 months before Skybound actually emailed him. But yeah, Tom, you can take it away how you got involved from here.
Oh, sure. Josh and I were working on Superman together, Night Terror's Superman, I think last June or July. And that's when I got the email from Sean to work on G.I. Joe with him. We'd been trying, I think, since COVID, like 3 years ago, to get on a book together. We had some creator-owned ideas kind of kicking around, and then we ended up doing Superman, and now we have G.I. Joe. And like they said, they were talking, I guess, 6 months beforehand about bringing me on. If they'd asked me at that moment, I probably wouldn't have been able to do the book. So the schedules worked out. That's half of comics is timing. Is if there's always books you want to do, but you've got to do something else. You're in the middle of another book, so it's always nice when schedules line up and with people that you want to work with too.
The stars just happened to align at the right time, and it was the right choices. Yeah, like I remember when this 2-page spread, the one that you have behind you, came out. I was so desperate to show it to people as soon as possible, and we were just like with this book, with this property, you know, we're really careful about how we roll things out, right? Like I think at the very beginning of it, the fact that, you know, no one knew that's what we were doing, and then when Void Rivals came out, then it was like, oh no, we're doing this. This is how we're doing it, and it's connected like this. I think it helped us build the excitement of it, but that also meant things like this image. That it's like the moment we got it, I was like, let's post something right now. We're going right now. And they're like, no, wait, like do it right, you know. So it's been a lot of that, but yeah, like Tom has been killing it on this book. I mean, every page is really cool. There's stuff coming up in the book I think people will be really wowed by. It's just, yeah, like this 2-page spread in particular, I remember when that came in, it was just like, holy shit, like that is a dope image of Duke, because that's something we wanted to do, right? We were like, we got to give you the coolest image of Duke right out the gate. And it was like, so here's the thing about this image of Duke, right? There's like little stuff in it where it's like, obviously he's saving somebody, obviously he's taking people down, but there's also, for somebody who's a big G.I. Joe fan, the fact that explosion is going off to him, that is like an homage to the original cards, you know? Yes. And it's like that.
The box art, yeah.
Yeah, it's an homage to that, like those images, those classic card images of all those characters. So it really was this kind of like this visual treat, you know, and Tom really killed it. It's awesome. And then Jordy comes in and colors it, and it just looks super dope.
Heck yeah. Shout out to the entire team. Thomas, man, let me give you your flowers, bro. Kudos. When I turned the page, I was like, well, I didn't exactly turn the page because I got a digital screener.
Yeah.
When I was looking at the PDF, if you could see the smile come across my face as a fan, killed it. And then the words "man of action" from you, Joshua, to just kind of give that additional throwback. That was such love, and I appreciate it immensely. Thomas, man, if to just kind of give you some more flowers, and if you could talk a little bit, I'm very picky about styles. Again, being a G.I. Joe super fan, of like different artists that take on certain projects and IPs. You and as we just said, I'm so thankful the stars aligned. You are a perfect artist for this. You killed it. I'm curious, when you climbed on board to this. Well, actually, even before that, are you a fan of this material? Like Joshua and I are. So then climbing aboard of it, because you're kind of a younger cat, I think, compared to me and Joshua in age, coming on board, and then just what you wanted to bring to the table visually. What were some of your inspirations? Because personally, I see a lot of Frank Miller as a Frank Miller fan with some of the different pages and layout design throughout. I think you kind of take him into another level. Like, amazing. Great job on this, Thomas.
I mean, Frank is one of the greats, and his use of spot blacks, one of the best of all time. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities to kind of play with broad black shapes like that in this book. It kind of sets the tone as sort of like a thriller story, using a lot of blacks and shadows and things. Thank you, first of all. I appreciate all the kind words. I don't know if I'm such a super fan of G.I. Joe, like to the level of you guys. I like the property. I like every kid. I had the action figures. I had the little 3-inch ones. I thought Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow were the coolest. Absolutely. I saw the aforementioned live action movies too in the theater, and I thought Channing Tatum was cool. I tried to throw a little sprinkle of Channing Tatum into this Duke, just a little. I thought the face scar was really cool. That's the one.
Great.
So
I like that.
I stole it. And that's about where my fandom, at least as far as consuming stuff about G.I. Joe, ended. So I don't have a whole lot of reference. Maybe that makes me good for this book because it's sort of a new take, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not too beholden to things that have come before. I'm doing my research. I'm taking it seriously. I'm doing due diligence, but I'm also coming up with a lot of new stuff.
Did you have to match up with the new toy lines? Like, did they give you like style cards or anything like that, or were you allowed a little bit of freedom?
There were a couple things that I'm basing it pretty heavily off the toys, but Hasbro is very open to new ideas. So I've got some things that are not based on any existing designs that they've come up with, which is pretty cool for me to get to just come up with a completely new thing. Maybe that'll become a toy at some point down the line. That's not why I'm making new designs. They do serve the story, and I'm thinking of it like that, like narratively.
Yeah.
What would this look like at this point in time in the story? But it's cool that they're accepting of like new ideas, and they're not just like make it look like it looks on the box. So
yeah, we didn't want
very cool.
But one of the things really, we wanted to make sure that it didn't feel like it was just a toy line spinoff, like it's its own story, it's its own thing. But like, yeah, they've been really cool about us kind of doing new stuff with it. And I think that's one of the things that really works with me and Tom is like, obviously, like I'm a bit of a super fan about it, and then Tom has new, fresh eyes on some of it, so it just are accessible to people who love it and people who've never read it before, who are new. So it's like having that balance with these books. I think it works out with Tom and I.
I love that. Yeah, I completely agree. It's a great marriage of talent and skills. So let's talk actually about a little bit about the book without spoiling. Don't want to spoil for people because I want them to enjoy this gift that we're getting of Duke #1 on December 27th from Image and Skybound. We find a little bit coming off of I think Transformers Void Rivals a little bit. Joshua, if you can lead so that way I don't spoil for you. I'm pulled back in. I haven't been reading comics for a while. Actually, not too long after I read your Dark Ride stuff, Josh, that because I've been busy with film stuff, that this is pulling me back because I'm such a fan. So I'm excited for this ride. But Joshua, if you can tell me, what we need to catch up, maybe, I think Void Rivals and then leading into this new series.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would start off with Void Rivals. Get there. The idea that like Jetfire was in that story, and then you pick up the Transformers. And one of the things that happened in Transformers issue 2 that came out a few weeks ago was that Duke was in a jet. He was flying with a friend of his named Frosty, and they ran to another jet, like an enemy jet, and then that jet turned into Starscream, and they had a battle with Starscream in the sky, and Starscream killed Duke's friend. And that's really where Duke gets brought into this, because Duke is this guy who is, a military man. He knows exactly what his life is like. He knows what the world's around him. And he's seen a lot of stuff, right? Like, guy has been in it. He's seen it. But then all of a sudden, a jet turned into a robot, and then killed his friend. And he has to react to that and deal with that. But then it also sends on a mission. And in some ways, it's weird because it's like, to me, it's almost like a mission. He's on a mission for answers, but there's a bit of revenge in there. Like, he wants to know what did this so he can get answers from it, but then also take it down. And he doesn't know that it's aliens. He doesn't know the difference between an Autobot and a Decepticon. All he knows is these are robots that killed his friend. And so that puts him in a really interesting position going forward. And we kind of break Duke down and tell a story about him trying to get answers, but also trying to find out who he is, because it really changes his worldview of everything, right? Could you imagine if all of a sudden you saw something turn into a robot? You'd be like, what is happening, right? And if that's true, what else is true? What else was I wrong about? And so that's what it does to Duke in this story. And so you get to kind of start off there, where this is where the story starts, is we show you who Duke is, we show you who he was, and then we show you who he is now and how he's broken because of what happened in Transformers, right? And that's part of what's been really interesting about combining these properties, is showing how these properties are changed because of the other one, right? Like, what about these properties? How do they impact each other? Because it's not just taking these toys and throwing them together and mashing them together. We're showing how they're impacted by each other and how they change each other. And I think that's been one of the really fun parts about working on this. And I think that's something people will find. That's how it's different. And I think people who are super fans of both properties can kind of come into it and see that's what we're doing, right? Like, we're showing how they are, by mashing them together, how they actually change each other. And that's part of the fun of working on it.
Wow, I am all in, guys. I got to tell you, Josh, man, I can't wait to see what you guys are going to do. And again, Thomas, your skills on with the pencil are dope. It's amazing. I'm loving what you're doing with this. I can't wait. Is this going to be in regards to this run? Is this a 4-issue miniseries. How many issues is this? And is this building out before we get, I guess
so
everything.
So Duke is 5 issues, Cobra Commander is 5 issues, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay,
we'll see what happens.
We gotta be building to some awesome.
We love our secrets. We love our secrets. So you gotta come along for us. Follow us in and where we're going, and you'll see it'll be fun.
Well, I am checked in for the ride. I can't wait to see how this is all going to build out. And as this comes along, I'd love for you guys to come back so we can celebrate after it's all done and actually dive into some more of the fine details and highlight all of that. But this is so amazing. I can't wait for more. Everybody, December 27th, hit up your LCS, your local comic shop. Pick up Duke #1. There's a ton of amazing variant covers. They're killing it. And then you're going to just love the writing from my man Joshua and just the art from Reilly. Bravo. You guys are killing it. Shout out to Image and Skybound. We're going to be talking all the things as these issues drop. I can't wait for y'all to check it out. Amazing, guys. Bravo.
Awesome.
Everybody,
Thanks,
Joshua Williamson, Thomas Reilly, Duke #1, Image and Skybound. It's your boy Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World. All right, there's a cut. Record. I'm gonna count us in and we're gonna have some fun. All right, let's go. In a 1, 2, 3.